like to call as the guidelines for the community rather than connecting with a particular religion, because these were the only documents that used to guide people how you should behave and how you should be living your life. There are so many documents, and these three things, which we now called the ethics of permaculture, I have taken references from the Vedas. The one is from Atharva Veda, which recites as, I have written that in Sanskrit language, but I would just read it out.
Turn it down a little bit, because, yeah, just a little bit, because we are also
Okay.
down a little
Is
bit.
it good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first one is, the earth is our mother and we are her children. That's what we now call the care for earth. And people from Nepal have been doing this all the thousands of years from when the farming has started. So another thing was is like, may all be happy, may all be free of illness, may all see auspicious, and may no one suffer. Is like care for people. That's what we have been doing since the farming began in ancient periods, like maybe thousands of years. Oh,
I think you don't need the mic.
let's take that way. Okay, is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
The mic is crying because nobody is using it.
Yeah, he don't need mic.
So the third one is, the entire universe is pervaded by the divine. Enjoy with renunciation and do not covet others' wealth. That is like fair share. Like we should share what everyone deserves. And all these things that again we have been doing since a lot back. So in Nepal, uh, like there used to be so complex systems which we will go on to see further. There are more slides and pictures which I have added more. But there used to be a holistic system that people used to integrate everything into their livelihood. They used to grow grains, they used to grow oil seeds, they used to grow chickens, they used to grow cows, they used to grow goats, everything together. So that's the way, that's what we do in permaculture now. Like get more things in so that like the entire system became like complementing each other, and the total productivity of the entire system will be higher. So here we will discuss like permaculture, ancient roots in Nepal. We will explore more how, like I have divided so many activities that we used to do that are aligning with permaculture in different layers. We will oversee those and we will see how those practices can be adopted more and like can be expanded in a higher scale as well. So going, I will show the pictures as well. The Nepal is very steep. I have some of the videos as well where we can like understand how the entire geography is there. If you don't practice holistic land management, if you cannot do the scientific land management, then the everything you do entire year will be washed away by a single rain. So it's very important to manage land in a such a way that the ecosystem keeps thriving and going on. And we really, what we do is we have like our livelihood is interconnected with the forest. Like there are so many forests around, and there is a hill, there is a forest upward, people live in the middle region, and there are like lands where they grow crops just below their houses. So the entire system is interconnected. We observe nature. There are so much biodiversity and element integration. I don't want to go through these principles. There are more things like as I mentioned before as well. There are so many other scriptures as well. These were written like we don't have the exact evidence when these were written, but we believe that these were written like tens of thousands of years ago. And from that time, what we now like promote in permaculture, people have been doing things. So, still, there are like primarily three types of farming system in Nepal. One is like subsistence farming, as we are talking right now. Like whatever I need, I grow it myself. There is other to make those farming system subsistence. There are like so many indigenous traditional knowledge. Like they had so many principles that connected people's life with plants, like water distribution, like dividing the rights on the land, on the rivers. So that way the traditional knowledge, and they even use different kinds of tools that used to make like life more easier, and they even used to get like we have slopey terrace rivers from the Himalayas flow downwards. So we use that energy from those rivers to run a mill so that we can get flours and even oils sometimes. So all the systems were integrated with the nature and harvesting the nature. And the most important thing was all those energies that we harvested were renewable. And another one is community-based farming. Like people, you still now there are only few places that where we hire laborers. But before that, we used to like go to others' field turn by turns and work in rotation wise, so that nobody had to pay for the labors. And like even though there used to be a declaration for a day on a village to clear all the waterways to bring the water from rivers to their land so that like everybody can use those water, and all the people from village like maybe one person from our house would take part in that process so that everybody could benefit from the entire process. This is what a typical village from Nepal looks like. So here, the picture is taken from far away. So I will try to explain. So we can see lands here. We can see so many houses here. We can see ways in between the houses as well. So that's how village in Nepal looks like. So what we have done here, in this type of village, we like follow organic pest control practices. We help each other. We adopt different seed saving practices, which I will go more in details again. The farming is totally integrated, and there are terraces techniques, like as I mentioned before as well, due to the very high slope. It's really important that you preserve the soil, preserve the organic matter that you have built on in your soil, in your land. In these villages, like there are some centers. Those villages build cultural centers where like people from the village gather together and celebrate, just like we do in the party session every evening. So it's not just about farming. It's not about just about growing crops. It's about livelihood, how you live your life, and what is the quality of that life. It's not like in such villages in Nepal state, you don't need money to live entire your life, because you adopt a very healthy way of living. You have people around you, surrounded by community. When there is a need, there will be all of them to help you. And even in Nepal, the practices is such that like they build communities we often call guti. So what they do is every time when there is a festival in someone's house, or when there is a ceremony like when a child gets born, or when some of the member from family dies, then every members from the village contribute something, so that there won't be any financial burden to the single house, and every community is taking part so that it would make the life of that people easier. Regarding the seed preservation practices, there are so many, but I have just tried to get some most important things so that I can present it within an hour. Because like everything is so complex, and we have been doing so many things, and even in Nepal there is such a huge diversity within the people and within the regions as well. So there are a few. So one of the things that we used to do for the seed storage is like ash storage. We used to mix them with ash. Like just there was a demonstration there, right? Like we burned the wood with and then like for the storability and more durability. That's why we did mix those ash with the seeds so that there won't be any pest attack or even the moisture would be absorbed by the ashes and the seeds would be preserved for the longer time. And there we used to use earthen pots, like incorporation of neem leaf and even the mugwort leaves. There are different kinds of natural plants that are available, and we used to mix all of those so that we could preserve seeds, not only seeds but also the food. And smoking and hanging, there are like so many practices that people have been doing. There are some pictures. So this is how like we used to sun dry the maize so that there won't be any problem with the storage, and we can store it for the complete year until the next corn arrives, and we will use this for eating and maybe store the second year. And even the seeds are selected in this way. The earlier corns that we get in the lands and the larger crops ones are selected and sun dried in this way. There are some pumpkins and even all other crops are like sun dried, and we use these types of techniques to store the seeds without the use of any like external inputs. We, that are produced entirely from the kitchen or from that system that people used to follow within their own. Still, like 90% of the seed system, like 90% of the seeds that people get in Nepal is from informal sectors, like exchanging with each other, preserving their own seeds. Only the 10% seeds that people get from other companies and hybrid companies that like grow. But still, where 90% comes from informal system, that means like still we are 90% self-sufficient in the seed, and like no other external companies can enforce their seeds on us. So the key thing that we used to do, like from the time immemorial, is like integrated farming. We used to integrate livestock, home gardens, agroforestry, waste recycling, and I mean, as far as we talk in permaculture, there are so many different components we talk and we try to integrate into our system. But we used to do that from so many years, and right now what has been done is like your production is really low because of the mixed cropping integrated farming that you have been following. And there is a notion that like maybe due to the effect of green revolution, the people are turning themselves into monocropping systems from these integrated farming, and that's really a challenge for people like us who are working in Nepal to promote permaculture. I have more pictures here that will. Oh, so these are the homes, and around the homes there are like so many trees, and all of these trees would produce different kinds of fruits all the seasons, and that would really supplement your nutritional needs. This is the picture from one of the villages, like it's very unreal there, but maybe this painting would be more relevant to explain the entire situation. It is a bit better clear also. There are dogs, oh, there are goats, there are cows, there are timber trees, there are bananas, other fruits, and the house and seeds, hens, everything. So nothing is waste. Everything is recycled, and that comes back into the cycle that the nature follows. So one of the major part in an integrated farming system is agroforestry, where we integrated trees and crops. Like there are terraces in Nepal. Let me okay, so here are trees, and here is the land that we grow crops here. So all of the most of the places in Nepal they grow forest trees in these ages, and even the fruits as well. And there is always a hedgerow at the edge of your terrace, every terrace, and inside of that terrace you grow grains, you grow oil seeds and all other things. So there was always agroforestry that we used to practice. The fathers used to supply the grass requirement for the livestock, and from the dung and urine that we collect from the livestock, it will fulfill the needs of fertilization into the land. So, due to the agroforestry system that we used to follow, that helped us to improve the soil health, because the nutrient was again recycled and taken back into that soil from where it was derived. And what we do is, in summer there is the temperature is higher. So at that time, all the plants grow and provide shades to some extent to the crops that we grow in between the terraces. And during the winter, we chop them off and they get enough sunlight so that again it can grow. And during the next summer, all those like age plants that were planted, they would again regrow and come back. At every corner, look, can you see the like haze and furrows here? So, like raised beds and forests. So they are like soils, they absorb water and they slow the water movement process, they spread, and the water will absorb into the soil. And even we can see we in Nepal we build like furrows in every like terraces in the back part, so that like water can again infiltrate and go into the soil. And often when there is like so much infiltration from all these lands, we would have some water source here, some springs or small ponds in these concaves, so that people can drink and even the animals can drink. And the people in lower fields here, they can take water from these places. So those were the systems that would harvest water, and they were again used into the production system later on. So this is what a typical farm in Nepal looks like. So even like we divide the forest into 5 parts. One is the jungle forest itself, another is people. We try to interconnect all these things so that the overall productivity of the system is enhanced. One is jungle, another is janata, that is people, another is zameen, that is soil, another is jadi buti, that is herbs, and the last one is jeev jantu, that is animals. So we try to make a complex system involving all these and benefiting all these components so that overall productivity of the system would be higher. So there are all of these things, like even I said before, like there is a forest and people usually have home here in this side, and below that there are farms, land where they grow crops. And the advantage of this system is like people get mulch, people get household utilities, everything they used to make from woods, and the construction materials they get from the timber just behind their house. And due to the slope, when you go like a bit 1 meter or deeper than that, you will get a lot of stones there. So you can extract those stones and build your house over there. So there is no need to bring any construction materials from any far away. So these were very sustainable. And once the house filled out, then you could have planted in the next year, because everything is like natural. And the place where the house fell off, you can grow crops the next year. It was so sustainable.
Okay, jungle and
Jungle, Janata is people.
people,
Zameen is land.
land,
Jadi Buti is herbs.
house, yeah.
And Jeev Jantu, that is animals,
Anyway,
livestock.
这是它
So 5 J's.
，again.
Okay. Jungle, that is forest.
Jungle, people,
Janata, that is
land.
people. Zameen, that is land. Jadi Buti, that is herbs. And Jeev Jantu, that is animals.
动物呀，对，complete system now. Let's keep in
So
this
everything
picture. Yeah.
people need to get to live. We used to get within the system. So we can see so many products coming here, like food or fiber, medicine, food, like dyes, everything came from that piece of system. So like people, for my grandfather, the entire village was the world because he never had to leave that village to live his life completely. Everything was there, present, available.
Very good. I like this picture.
So another thing that's really important to like keep the system in a cycle without disturbing is like terracing, because I maybe I can show the picture first and then explain later. Okay, this is what like fields in Nepal look like. You can see terraces everywhere. Everything is terrace. Right? We often talk terraces and like soil erosion control, water harvesting in permaculture, but that this is what like the everything that we talk in permaculture looks like, because there are so many terraces, there are trees, and the advantages of these terraces would be like one is preventing soil erosion. I even showed in the previous image as well. Manage water resources, demonstrate early understanding of sustainable management. Like we don't know when we started to make these type of terraces in fields.
I feel that for this terrace system, it's very different from the drownland. Yeah, drownland they want to keep the water, but this is more for like erosion.
No.
Yeah, and keep everything. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a misconception. Because in Nepal we get the rainy season is just for 4 months, and even in the 4 months it's highly distributed within the 45 days. You get like almost 80% of the rain within the 85 days, and the rest of the 15% in other like in the range of 3 months, and after that there is no rain.
Okay.
So during the rain that we get, like we often
那这样可以把那个地点冲出来。它其实没有一个如果一点降雨量，其实只有在某几个月，而且在几天内就行。
So it's really important that whatever you get during those 3 or 4 months, you collect those and keep it as a store, keep it as a like safe deposit for the coming winter where you will not get any rain at all. It's very rare to get rain. There are a few times we get single rainfall in winters, but it's really uncommon to get rainfall during winter. So the terraces that I showed and the forests that we make and the soils that we make at the like corners of every terraces, they are really the water harvesting structures within the system. Okay, here is a village and everything is there. Like we can see trees, we can see plants. Like in Nepal, we distinguish land two types. One is khet and one is bali. So wherever there is a water source available and you can plant rice, we call them khet. And these are like khet. We can see rice plants over here. And all those khets have like a raised part at the edge so that water can be stored within here. But in baris, where these are the dry lands where we often grow crops like maize, which don't need like water level to grow. We don't find any like such type of things.
So here are the village.
Yeah.
And here are the terrace.
Yeah.
And what is also accumulated in this area?
No, this is the river.
The river.
In Nepal we have 6,000 rivers flowing from north to the south. There are 6,000 rivers.
哦，所以他们也有6000。
No, this is coming from north to the south. And like for these pits where we usually grow rice, we can take water from, if we need water for this land, we will build a canal from here so that it can go all the way till here. Because we cannot lift water directly from here, it will be energy inefficient. We will need external energy or petrol or something like that. But when we dig canal from here straight, then it will go on with the help of gravity itself. So in this type, we have two lakes. One where we can have the water from rivers or springs. There we grow rice, and the ones where we cannot take water from rivers. There we grow corns.
如果能被交给这个做另外一个
So another most important part of Nepalese traditional practices that really aligns with permaculture is cultural dimension. There's so many different cultures. There's like even if I have to celebrate every festivals of ours, then we will need like 120s of different crops to celebrate those festivals. Without those crops, then it won't happen. Like we cannot celebrate our festivals. So the festivals have been helping a lot to maintain that biodiversity, so that it will need for us to worship or for us to offer to the gods or in some religious things. So in Nepal, the diversity, like in Taiwan also, in yesterday's evening party Kai, they were saying like Taiwan is a very diverse country. Like yes, it is. But when I see at my country, like there are 125 ethnic groups, like tribals. Not exactly, we don't call tribals, but we call them ethnic groups. We have 125 ethnic groups. We have 123 different languages. And like I would love you guys to like really focus here, because the total area of Nepal, like the global area, there is a total area of the globe, and the total area that Nepal occupies within that globe is just 0.03%. But within that 0.03% of the area, we have 3.2% of the global diversity. Like all the flowering plants, non-flowering plants, animals, livestock. Have anyone heard about one-horned rhino? Rhinoceros? One-horned rhino? So in African region, there are two-horned rhinos. They have like two horns in their mouth. But two. Not like this, but like this. But Nepal is the only place where you can find one-horned rhino. The rhinos in Nepal have only one horn. So there are similar, that kind of diversity, there are so many. And that is again integrated with the culture of the people, so that like we can keep on continuing those types of things. Do you guys know Tulsi plant? Tulsi. Yeah. Basil plant. Basil. Okay. So what we do in Nepal is that is very good for your health. You are expected to take a leaf of basil every day at least. And how we incorporate into our system is like you should have a small place which we say Tulsi mat in your house, and you should worship it every day. You should offer it water. So how the culture has helped us to build the health is when you worship it every day and when you water it every day, you will get lush green of leaves every time, every day. And then you can eat it.
就是那个罗勒叶啊，罗勒叶你越摘它越长，对不对？对啊，然后他们就是有一个习惯，他们每天都会摘罗勒叶去敬拜神，然后会有那个水啊，就在浇罗勒叶，所以等于说你在摘它，然后再浇它，它就越来越好，所以是完全是文化跟生活跟植物跟那个食物是完全紧密的联合在一起。Yeah.
That's the holy basil. That's not the basil which we use in pizza and pasta. Not that one. That's another. That's
We have another one.
special
There are different
holy
varieties.
basil.
那种罗勒叶不是用来烤披萨那一种，他们有其他的做，
So again,
通常来拜神用。
that Tulsi is only an example. We have so many of those plants that are integrated into the culture that we need to worship. Let
他
me
这
show
只是
you
一
the
个小小
picture
的案
here.
例，他们的生活流有充满了，到处都是这种。
Oh, so this is the terrain of Nepal. Look, from the low hills it goes reach up to that. This is the way to Everest, and this is the terrain that I have been talking about. If you don't follow right practices to conserve your water, to conserve your soil, the single rain will wash it away, and your work entire year will be washed away. So it's really important for you to make those kind of terraces that we saw just before, to keep those healthy soils in your places.
Meters above the sea.
From 60 meters from sea level to 8,848.86 meters in just 200 width. The width is just 200 kilometers. And from that you have to rise like this. When you see the area, it's really like that. So this is the word to address. I joined two things together so that you can get like brief overview how the Everest looks like. You have to go through all these ways to climb Mount Everest. Okay, finally you are at the top of the world.
But it takes you maybe 65 days to,
Okay.
if you really want to climb Mount Everest, then 5, like you go to the camp 1 and just rest, and camp 2 and just wait, and like, oh, continue.
So adding more into the nature and culture, like we were just talking about the tulsi plant. There are so many other things. Like this is the rice planting festival. I have a video as well. I'll show you. Like people are dancing, and there is a month in maybe July 1st or 2nd. We have different date in Nepalese calendar. We called it Asar 15, and on that day it's the National Rice Planting Day, and the entire nation celebrates. So people are dancing here on that day. Since they are planting, it's the time to plant because it's the time that we get rain. And here, this is from like another place in Nepal. As I said before, that there are 125 ethnic groups. Every of them have their own culture, but I had so limited time and space to keep all of this. I have just represented a few here. So this is called Chhat Puja, and people worship the sun for a complete day in the water. Being in the water, they sit on the water and worship the sun entire day. That's the best example of thankfulness and like appreciating the nature for the thing that they have offered for us. And we can see so many things that they prepare so many different types of sweets and the plants they grew. In Nepal, when we need to offer something to the temple or the god, we don't buy it. You just make it out from the plants that you grow it yourself. Even there is a festival called Lakhvat Puja, like you worship with 1 lakh, like 100,000 lights together, and people have the tradition to like raise a cow, make their own ghee, grow cotton plants, and from that cotton plants make those lights, and you do everything on your own, and then only you will get the benefits that you are expected to get from that particular action. So it's not like going to market and buying. So everything we can see here in this picture is that people grew it themselves. And another one is there is the food diversity. It's from one of the community. There are so many different plates. Like we often say, 84 different varieties, and that's how we treat people who are really important for us. We say Chaurasi Benjan in Nepali. That means like 84 different dishes together. Means you'll need a lot more type of plant and more type of dishes, herbs, spices, everything to make that different varieties of food. To continue, so here is a gall, small gall, and here is a plant, we call it bale plant. So what we do is, this gall is going to get married with this fruit. So how the preservation thing works is, to every child, when there is a girl child in that particular ethnic group, then they should get married with this particular fruit. And if you need to get be your culture tradition going on, you should really protect these plants. Without protecting these plants, that you can grow.
确实嘞，就是呢，在某一个地方呢，就是他们每一个小女孩都要跟这个果树结婚，对啊，那因为有这个传统在呢，这个果树一定会保护，它不会被消失。OK。
And here is the example, like there are banyan and people in Nepal, like these two are symbols of gods, and people plant them when they are young, and during their like when they are almost around 80s, they like put people together, invite people together, and get those true trees married as well. Not just it's not about just human and plants. It's within the plants as well, people get married, so that like it's like a conservation thing in Nepal, like from the previous Vedas and old rituals that we used to do this, so that people could come there, take rest, like they were made like the resting spaces in Nepal. And even these plants, which we now call calotropis, people get married to this plant as well. Even I am married to these plants.
很多的一个文化就是人会跟这些树结婚，然后刚才
Oh, there is one the song from the festival that I mentioned before.
again。尼泊尔的一个蛇眼。
Okay. What's wrong with this? This is 6 minutes long, but I will just say for a minute. So this is the rice planting festival in Nepal. People, like everyone gathers and they are planting rice. So this is the song we sing during the rice planting time. And there is ceremony. Okay. So in Nepal, how we do is we gather in groups, and there is a male side and there is a female side. Right now, the male side is singing a song, and there will be a female side replying to that thing that whatever male says. So that's why, because we are only 3 of us here, we could not have any presentation over there because we will need a lot, big number of people. Now there are females replying to that thing that the male said just before. Okay, maybe if you want, I can send you link, but right now I have forward. Okay. So we're talking about the indigenous knowledge systems and the integrated farming and the relation between nature and the culture that has helped us to this day to preserve everything, work in harmony with the nature and everything. So what we have been doing is, like there are what current initiatives that Nepal has been doing is promoting sustainable practices. Like we used to do all those things from years before. Right now, what the missing link is, like people just copy their parents, grandparents. They don't know the basic sense how that entire thing works and the basic principles that have been missing.
就是呢，我们在这里是办理什么？对，其实他们有这么多丰富的生活经验设备，但是呢，他们是跟他父母中学习的，他们知道传统，他们不知道道理。但是每一个设计传承下来，他们有道理，我就父母在这道理。
Now we are 3 from Nepal representing here. What we have been working together is, like, people used to do all those things, but they were not together. People didn't see things in a holistic approach. We are trying to bring things in a ball, single ball, so that people can see life, people can see culture, people can see growing foods, people can see health, and everything like that, like soil erosion control, water conservation, everything from a single perspective, not like in diverse ways.
他们这是有3个人， 来这边有展示，他们想要做的是尼泊尔有这么多丰富的这些智慧都还存在在这个当地，那我们怎么样把这个东西不要让它是被各自分离的，它是一个整体性的，就像是一个碗，然后集中在一个碗，然后让他们可以被全方面的去认识了解。因为我觉得有这样的地点已经越来越少，很多地方都已经丧失这个机会。那这样。
So whenever we talk about farming, the first thing farmers say to us, all of us face is the pest. Like there are so many problems from the insects, there are so many problems from the disease. In Nepal, what we used to do is we use local herbs and we used to balance the nature that existed in the like in forest, and we used to copy from there. So there are more than like 100 species of plants that we generally use in control of these species. Since there is diversity from 60 meters up to 8,000 meters, that is a big pressure for us, because we will get herbs that would help us to repel pest, control disease in all of those terrains as well.
那在这么一个生物这么多样性的里面，各种昆虫的对昆虫防治，其实我们知道这个简单几个方法，所以它们是一个很复杂的大系统。Oh, wait. So like because there's so much diversity, there's so much insect. So how about the magic group they play? Like the whole picture of it, the previous picture.
Like we have more than 100 plant species that help us to, like, some help us to repel insects.
差不多100种的这种基地服务，要让它可以让这些昆虫不要去侵害它。如果你把这些很多东西做在一起的话，你就可以保护你的作物。
There are some plants which insects really like, and we plant them as a trap crop so that others can be protected and insects would go to eat them.
有些植物是昆虫特别爱吃，所以有它的存在，其实昆虫会去吃它，然后其他的作物就会被保存。因为我觉得很少地方已经有这么大族群的，对。
So I said there are more than how many species. There are just a few here. Like we use this plant to control red ant. Red ant in potato. In potato, when there is no water, there are more red ants, like big ones, going to there, making tunnels inside of the potato. And for that we use these plants. Like when you plant potato with this plant, then there will be no red ant.
Because they won't like to eat this plant.
Yeah, this is like so smelly for them, and they just want to remain away from that. Side by side. So we always talk about community thing in permaculture. Even in the first picture of the village, I showed in every village there is a community center where people from the village gather and they dance and celebrate and like they play music and sing like prayers. There are different kinds of prayers. And this is the example which I took just 2 days before. This is the place near our village. In the place named Miramki. This is the orchard of mango. But this is not owned by one person, this is communal. Everybody planted them together, and whenever there is a harvest season, like people share the product from this with all of them. So still in many villages in Nepal, people don't sell vegetables at all. Whenever there is surplus, you give it away to other people.
其实在他们的村落里头，并没有在贩售农产品，其实就是用共享交换，因为他们村落离外面的市场太远。
So the thing that really has been challenging all these practices. So I have been saying it many times. Like I want to say it again. These are few examples that we have been doing. So many such practices. Like there is a festival called Udhauli and Ubhauli. That means going up and going down, like the literal translation. That means there are high hills in which animals can't survive in the cold. And there is a festival called Udhauli where like all the livestock and people from the high hills come down so that like they would survive the winter. And again there is another festival after 6 months where that every people and livestock will again go up. So that's how this
有
thing
一个
works.
好几种祭典，什么叫高的什么的，低的什么的。那其实就是在高处呢，是某一层之上是没有什么太多生物可以生存，或是那边生土在因为季节它会往下迁移。那一样在底下的话，他们会因着季节往上迁移。
And the challenges that we have been facing right now, because like it's really important for you to understand the basic science when you work in farming. But those people who understand the basic science, who are literate, all of them are moving away from the agriculture occupation. And for those who are not like literate, who haven't gone to formal schooling system, who cannot understand the basic science, it's really difficult for us to make them understand how the thing works. Like it's very difficult to explain them the microbial population that soil has. We don't have like we cannot. It's really difficult for them to understand those things.
像那些比较好的教育的经济参与，然后剩下来这些人其实受教育程度不高，然后他们要跟他解释这边土壤核心技术，然后很难去找一个很好科学的方法去说明。
So in the last video of the mountain, we saw so many snow covering those mountains. But due to the climate change, like Nepal has like very less contribution in that climate change. But it comes in the top 5 of the countries that are most affected by the climate change. And even in the last COP meeting, UN Secretary General also raised this issue about snow that have been melting from the Himalayas. And due to the like rapid melting of those ice, the downstream people have been getting larger floods, larger landslides, and the resilience that we used to have, the nature and the climate is always changing. It's not a static system, it's dynamic, it keeps revolving. But the rate of change of those climate and the rate of adoption of people were like very coherent. But now with the world emitting so much of carbon, the rate the climate is changing over there, people haven't been able to adapt accordingly. So that's another very big problem. We are facing so many natural disasters because of that.
就是极端气候这件事情，其实，在尼泊尔他们释放的碳排其实是很低很低的，但是他们是全球排名前3名或前5名受影响最严重的国家。然后这些高山的积雪融化之后，对下面的整个的洪灾啊、冲刷啊，都是很可怕的。以前这种东西每年是会有，但是它是很缓慢的，现在就是很大，这是他们现在遇到很大的一个 challenge。
Another one is like it was really nice to hear from people like they have been able to integrate the permaculture thing into their curriculum into the school levels. But in Nepal with so much diversity, with people having different perspective and different aspirations and different thought process regarding the development, it's like getting difficult to integrate these type of education into the academics. And even in like non-academia sectors, it's kind of getting like really difficult to get more people in to join in the moment to learn about these things and go back and adopt them in their farms.
尼泊尔因为他们有很多太多太小、太偏离、太偏乡，所以他们好像不能像其他的案例一样，就是可能学到新的技术，然后传播给在地的这一批。
Okay, let's move forward. So, the lessons from that we have been following is resilience and sustainability. I very frequently share this story. During the COVID, like the government of Nepal did nothing at all. But there were no people who like died or they could not have food for a single day because the community was so resilient, they were so interconnected, and the entire system they used to live in were so sustainable and resilient that even the entire world was affected. People in Nepal were very few, very less they were affected from that COVID.
因为他们那个地方虽然是有点偏乡还有隔离啊，但是因为他们就因为这个条件下，他们只能自给自足，自己形成一个生活圈嘛。在疫情泛滥全球的时候呢，尼泊尔政府并没有什么积极的作为，但是尼泊尔的那种死亡或是的人数是特别的少的，可能他们就是一个对很有韧性的一个环境。
So other thing is biodiversity and climate adaptability. When you increase biodiversity, your resilience automatically increases. So try to make as much as biodiverse farm and biodiversity community so that it will have the resilience. That's what it has been in Nepal till now. Like even I grow all of my food by myself. And there are two things that we buy. One is tomato and another is potato because it needs bigger space to grow them. And in my rooftop, in my kitchen garden, I cannot grow them. That's just two things that we grow. It's similar for so many Nepalese people that grow their own food.
像那个法路呢，他自己所有的食物都靠他自己种出来的，他只有种了2个东西是外面买，一个是番茄，一个是马铃薯，因为它需要比较大的腹地去种植它。那这个东西是适用在整个尼泊尔地区，是大部分的人都是吃他们自家的食物。
The other thing is community and cooperation. Like I saw in this Tarmac village as well. This event wouldn't have been possible without the help of the community that is living just adjacent to us. So if you do everything, bring community together, then it will really help to build resilient and sustainable society.
对啊，就像达鲁马克这个地方啊，就是那种社群的聚集，跟大家彼此合作关系啊，这个关系。
So I like we're at the end of the session. I just like to share what I have been doing. This is my company called Mritika. That means soil in Sanskrit language. So the origin and end everything is within the soil. So what we do is we do farmers training. We help farmers to build their agri-business and help them to connect with the market. We even do feasibility studies, project development with the government and other non-governmental sectors as well. And we have been working with 13 different farms right now all over Nepal. And the major thing, the most important thing is we help all of those farms connect with the market. When there is no market, the cycle of sustainability is not complete. So when farmers get like basic level of earning to sustain their quality of life, then the farming cycle is completed and more people can come into the farming. Unless we do that, all people will go away from the farming and there will be no one to produce food for this many of people living all around.
Let me slow this down. So, Mritika Agro Service is Balu's company. 这个是他设立的公司，那个公司的宗旨就做1、2、3、4这件事情。然后 Number 1 is
farmers training.
对农民会有一些训练。Number 2
is agribusiness research and development. Like business related to agriculture, like some grow food, some make jams, and some take it to the market.
对
like
这
the
是
entire
农业
chain.
的分工，因为有些人只会种，但有些人不会销售，然后是透过这样的一个商业模式，让这个农夫的这个合作是做对的。OK, Number 3
farm designing, permaculture farm design, we do it for other people as well.
OK， 然后就是把原本的这个设计跟他们农作系统把它加入进去。
And the fourth one is linking with the market, helping them to sell their products.
OK， 然后第4就是把那个导入市场机制，因为我可以看到简报是因为他们彼此市场不一样，他们把农作物拿到市场去，市场会更好的是他们自己互相交流这样。
So this is my farm name, that's the company, this is the farm. Karuna means compassion, like having care for others, loving each other, and that's my mother's name as well. So the farm is named after my mother. And right now we have Sichuan pepper, turmeric and avocados in my farm. I have very good photo of Nepal, like with so many places to go. Maybe I'll show it later. I just want to invite all of you to visit Nepal, to go to those beautiful places in Nepal. I'll show the photo. Let me just come. Oh, this the wrong one. Okay. So all of the practices that we have been doing, we are aligning with the permaculture principles. So that's what my topic was about, like ancient roots. That's where permaculture has came from. Like people from all around the world have been doing similar kinds of things, like living with harmony, everything that we shared just before, and that's what the root of permaculture was. And if we go like 100 years ago, that the world was so sustainable. People were living so sustainable, and it's just the 100 years of our work that has made the world so bad. But there is still hope that so many of us people thinking in the same direction, we are working together to make this world a better place to live again.
其实传统的这些民生智慧里头，就已经汇集了世代以来的这种生活习性。你看100年前只有永续生活，没有现在说什么不永续的。
Okay, thank you for listening, inviting all of you to visit Nepal again. So it was so nice talking to you all, and this is my phone number with the WhatsApp, and this is the QR code for my LinkedIn account. So if anybody wants to connect, please do. Thank you.
很高兴来到这边，然后跟大家分享。然后那是我的电话，那是我的 WhatsApp QR code。
This is for LinkedIn.
LinkedIn
WhatsApp number.
哦，那一个是一个很连结的东西，我不知道。Maybe the QR code is being trimmed.
No,
Yeah.
this is all.
This is all.
So I want to show you the photo that I was talking about.
他要那个照片，给我们看一个漂亮照片。
But I have one last video and then it's done. Thank you. So this is how Nepal looks like.
尼泊尔
From here,
地形的长得像这样。
slope area to that hills. So if you work in such type of terrain, it's really difficult for things to make work. Okay, thank you. That's all. If you have any questions, queries, then I'm ready to answer. I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think Nepal is a place where are still very pure, very clean, and contain all this diversity compared to a lot of places already been destroyed, been colonized, and then we try to recover, right? So instead of recover, we should do recover, but we should preserve all this Nepal, like, and then blend into our knowledge, and then become an education to deliver to many. I mean, not just Nepal. I think deliver to many countries around the world. Yeah, because you guys are entitled to preserve this like most natural place in the world, like the most pure place. I want to visit them sometime, you know, very soon.
Everybody is super welcome to visit Nepal. Yes, now we have at least 3 homes in Nepal waiting for your arrival. You will not be alone.
Group photo. Group photo.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's take a
You
photo.
can choose with
Yeah, how about, oh, one thing I really need to, I would really love to meet that volunteer and thank him very much. Like who made a very good flag of ours in that like board with the like presentation title.
wow.
我怎么没听懂啊？You are talking about food? Oh, they have to
No, yeah, like that board.
Oh, yeah,
We
yeah.
have flag as well, small one. Very cute.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
very
our
humble.
flag. Very different.
特别感谢那个
Really good. You know actually what you present and then what Korean present
国家的那个吗？
about the culture presentation.
国旗。
Just in different.
Thank you.
different
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a photo right here with this puppet.
Just how.
Baru.
Let's go.
Let's go take pictures.
Yeah, you see her, yeah. Okay. And then 3 of you by in the center. Like, yeah.
Somebody at the back. Okay.
Like this?
Okay, everybody ready? Say Nepal.
Okay, Tika needs to be in the picture.
If the baseline will be too long, so I went in early.
Thank you for presenting us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
What's her name?
Huh?
Her name?
See you soon. See you soon. We are going together.
They will take my right back to my restaurant.
Today is our God. Because our life is in his hands. It depends on how he drives.
So he's asking if you want to come to Nepal. He don't want to participate like the visitors or they want to participate inside. Yeah, they also
We have network of farmers all around Nepal. So wherever you go, you can find a place for you to stay with farmers. Even in
they are the
we are, for example, we are going to Chai tomorrow today, and tomorrow we are staying at a farmer's place. We are not staying at a hotel tomorrow. So even here in Taiwan, we found a farmer. We asked them to host us tomorrow. So we are staying with farmers. In Nepal also. We do that.
yeah, we can
video recording.
真的，对啊。